So here's an issue I have with league balancing and something that worries me if it continues this way for the next years. This is about items, the map, and certain champions. It's not that these things shouldn't exist, because just like in nature, some things needs to exist to keep other things in check. We're going to be talking about camouflage, invisibility, and fog of war, and champions that fuck with being targetable and not being targetable, and why it's an issue. Garen is Gwen in this, so don't get confused, this is Gwen. These type of champions where you can't target them and you can't see them and they create fog of war, it makes it very hard to play champions like Seraph. Now that's not a bad thing, these champs should exist in the game, because just like I said, it's like nature. But right now, it feels like every single game there is one or two of these champs, and on top of that there is an item like Duskblade that will be doing these things, and then there's a stopwatch or a Sonya's that will be doing these things, and then there's something with the map that changes that ruins Fog of War and stuff like that. And I'm gonna show you a team fight, and it just feels like in most games right now, this is kind of how it is. So we start off killing Fiora, right? I want you to see now. What's even going on in this fight? Watch. Can I ever see the Kiana? Look. Look, Kiana. And now like, what am I meant to do? Right? Like, she's invisible. I can't hit her. Now Gwen comes. She's immune. I'm taking all this damage, and then I'm just dead. I couldn't even fight back. I couldn't even hit. And this is just one example. You can look at pro play right now, where people will do Xin Zhao Gwen, and they're just 2v5ing, because nobody can hit back. You go in melee range, Gwen will one-shot you. You're poking from afar, she will do her circle. You play versus Kiana, she's invisible the entire time. There's a Yuumi, you can't target her, and you can't kill the guy that Yuumi is on, because that guy's unkillable. Right? Obviously, Kayn and Kha'Zix aren't unbalanced. I'm not saying that. I'm just showing that there's so many champions with this type of like abilities. And let's say Akali, for example, right? I think Akali is not a very strong champ, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Akali. I think there's a lot of tools to fuck with her. But that type of ability, her W, right? When she's in her shroud, and sure, she's not killing you if she's in the shroud choosing to be invisible, but the way you play the team fight when she's inside of your team in her shroud is so much different. You can't commit to using your Poppy W now, because then Akali will kill you all. You can't use your Veigar Cage on enemy backline, because then she will kill you all. And there's just so much things that makes people untargetable and stuff. Like Elise E is another thing. Like, I'm sure we can find a lot of abilities like this, right? And like I said, right now it's not too big of an issue, but to me it's starting to become an issue, and if this keeps going, I think the game will become really unfun to play. Like, it's not fun for anyone when people are untargetable. Like, maybe it's fun for the Akali, right? But even for her, it's probably not that fun to just sit in the shroud, right? The Kiana as well. I'm pretty sure the Kiana players probably thinks it's really cringe to the best way to play her is spam your bush Q, right? But it just becomes like so obnoxious to play the game when you finally get access to the Gwen, and then she's fucking popping her stopwatch, and then she has her W back up, right? And there's just so many abilities like this now, that it's like, even if you pick like champs like Seraph in a good Seraph game, there's still like one champ that will just like do some stupid stuff. Like, Viego can like stand here, cast his E, and now you have to be careful about him flanking here, even though there's no way he would ever flank, but you have to be careful because there's a world where he does it. Senna is just Eing for fun here, now you have to be careful because there's a world where you're getting all in. It just has so much pressure because you don't know what will happen.